What's going on with Sharon anyway? Apparently, she's been on the lam since Captain America Civil War. Personally, I thought she had managed to hide her involvement in stealing Steve and Sam's gear, but I guess that one smooch made blowing up her life worthwhile. I'm being a little snarky here, but she seems to have become quite a bit more cynical during her years leading a life of crime. And her initial warning for Sam and Bucky to stay out of this, combined with later telling her driver they have several big problems, makes me think there's something else going on with her that we're not necessarily going to like. Still, she put herself in harm's way repeatedly to help Sam and Bucky, and she took down like a dozen hardcore bounty hunters to protect them. So, what do you think, Bob? How much has Sharon really changed? Is she just a black market art dealer hoping her Avenger buddies can get her a pardon for helping the old Captain America? Or is she operating under a more nefarious agenda? What are your thoughts on this?
You could have arguments both way on that. I think she is still a true believer of the good and the true. Because like you said, she single-handedly fights off like a dozen or more bounty hunters coming while the guys are in just sort of casually having a conversation with the scientist. You know, she's like, hey guys, speed it up. Hey guys, we got problems. Come on. Hey, let's speed it up. And they're just sort of very casually sort of this drawn out conversation with the scientist until, you know, the lab explodes. But, you know, that those things happen. But so, I mean, to persevere through that fight scene solo, to have their back instead of just being like, hey, I told you 10 times we got problems. You're on your own now. How nefarious can she really be to have that kind of steadfast loyalty to her friends in a problem?
I think she has loyalty. I think there's still sort of a loyalty of Steve thing going on because those are his friends. I think she still values the good and the right, but I think that she's become a lot more cynical. Because remember, she says when she's having that conversation at her place when like like Sam's changing clothes or whatever out of his pimp clothing, that she says, it's all bullshit, right? The blah blah blah, I can't remember her exact words, stars and stripes, all that, like whatever she says, and then she talks about the hypocrisy, So I think that she has been, scarred by everything that's went down. She has been forced to like lead the life of a criminal in a place where they won't extradite her to the United States, and she's obviously had to deal with, being in that kind of a world. And it feels like she also lived through the blip. So, I don't think we can underestimate the psychological effect that it would have had on her to be not only a fugitive for helping Steve, but then to live through the aftermath of the snap where half the world is gone. And there's like, there's a lot of grief and despair and all kinds of crap, going on during that time as well. So I feel like she is a character who's definitely changed. And I don't know, I wouldn't call her a nefarious character. At least I don't think so. But I think that she feels like she has to operate in a cynical, in a more cynical way now, unlike the way that she might prefer to. Does that make sense, or do you disagree?
I have two polar opposite theories.
Okay.
They're mutually exclusive, but I think they would both be kind of fun to explore.
Okay.
One, she's really gone down the rabbit hole, and she is either connected to or has taken over from Dread Pirate Roberts style, the power broker. Or she's deep undercover trying to take the power broker down. Just like the boys were undercover in the bar.
Interesting. I guess either of those could be true, Either of those could totally be true. I had been actually thinking that she might actually be the power broker. Or actually in the comics, the power broker is like two people, I believe, a man and a woman. So maybe she's like half of the power broker. possibly, but still hoping for a pardon and like not wanting to not help her friends, right? So that's interesting. And maybe she thought that and if she is working for the power broker or the power broker herself or like half the power broker, you know, there's a possibility that she also was helping Sam and Bucky because she thought maybe they could lead her to the super soldier serum, which the
Right.
power broker has been trying to
Well,
get.
and that's the thing. Now that the Flag Smashers have caused all this drama and people are starting to realize that super soldier serum's out there, it's no longer a secret. It's become a liability. So maybe if she is either the power broker or working for the power broker, she, you know, the decision has been made, you know, this stuff is way more trouble than it's worth. Get rid of it.
Mm,
And
yeah,
if that's one of the big problems we've got, well, you see where that could go.
that could be many big problems. Okay, well, I have more.
Because you don't see like if because those bounty hunters on the island run by the power broker would not blow up the power broker's stuff without the power broker's permission. You think? Because he just doesn't seem like the person to cross,
Yeah,
even if there is a
although
bounty on their heads.
yeah, although you know, who blew up the power broker or who blew up the lab stuff? That was Zemo, right? So,
No, Zemo was in the lab.
well, he shot the guy, and then after they were out of the lab,
He
he
shot
shot
the
the.
guy, and then the missile came in like 10 seconds later.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So
From the
he
bounty
couldn't shoot the
hunters.
guy, run out, get the missile, fire the missile in 10 seconds. It
That's
wasn't Zemo who fired it. It looked like
yeah.
one of
That's
the
right.
ruffian.
That's a good point. Zemo
Yeah.
made another explosion happen. So
Yeah, the
okay.
other explosion was Zemo, not this one.
Well, that I think sums up our thoughts on Sharon Carter.